It is a great pleasure and honor to be here with you today. Now, looking back at modern world history from one year to another, different countries have held the global #1 position. That is, they have achieved the status of global hegemony. The 19th century was the era of British hegemony. We call that Pax Americana, Pax Britannica. While the 20th century was the era of American hegemony, now this is Pax Americana. Some people argue that Minister Lee, the 21st century may be the area of Chinese hegemony, so-called Pax Sinica. However, whether or not the world system theories applies to the present day world is debatable. In today's world, where mutual dependence among countries has deepened and globalization has progressed far, we witness phenomena that cannot be sufficiently explained by the world system theory. If we pay attention not only to the competition side of international relationships, but also to areas of cooperation, any discussion on who may achieve hegemony may be outdated. For example, the fight against global warming is a challenge that the entire human society must tackle together. And it is essential to look at the world from the perspective of a community with a shared destiny for humanity. International initiatives proposed by China, including the One Belt, One Road initiative, the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative provide different perspectives from the perspective of the competition for hegemony through which the global system theory looks at the world. In the world after Second World War, alongside the US-Soviet Cold War structure of conflict between the East and the West, there was another conspicuous structure of conflict between North and North, a group of affluent countries, and the South, a group of developing countries. That is so-called North-South problem. The South stood up against the North by taking advantage of its reserves of natural resources. A typical example was the first oil shock in 1973. To counter that shock, democracies in the developed world create a summit meeting format as a permanent arrangement which has evolved into the current G7. After the end of US-Soviet Cold War that followed the fall of Berlin Wall in 1989, the 21st century ushered in the rise of countries of the South, particularly BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which increased their presence as emerging countries. While the doubling, in terms of population size, the G7 countries have a combined population of around 780 million people against the BRICS combined population of around 3.25 billion people. In terms of GDP size, the G7's combined GDP is worth $43.8 trillion against BRICS combined GDP of $25.9 trillion. This year, BRICS will accept Saudi Arabia, Iran, UAE, the United Arab Emirates, Ethiopia, and Egypt as new members. Each of those countries is a strong power in its own region. Although Argentina also planned to join the group, President Milei, who took office last December, unfortunately dropped the plan. While doubling the number of members increases the group's presence and the diversity, there will be more potential factors of disagreement within the group. The expanded BRICS is expected to bring major change to the international order in the future. The United Nations, which is responsible for maintaining global peace and safety, has been unable to end either the Ukraine war or the war between Israel and Hamas. As the Security Council cannot reach a conclusion due to the veto power exercised because of difference of opinion between the permanent council members, the United Nations has fallen into a state of dysfunction. The G7's relative presence on the world stage has now declined. Alongside the United Nations and the G7, there are other international organizations and frameworks that play an increasingly important role, such as EU, European Union, the G20, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. If those groups complement the United Nations and make efforts toward global peace and prosperity, conflicts will disappear. For example, it is important to deal with global challenges, including global warming due to the climate change and the frequent outbreaks of infectious diseases from the viewpoint of community with a shared destiny for humanity. Thank you very much indeed.